Well, I mean, there's been a lot of talk in the community.
There's been a lot of talk.
A lot of talk in the community. You know, and it's... You know, it's so hard.
Yo, what up, Poppy? Today we're gonna be talking about maps that are going to be remastered in Black Ops 4, and there are some maps that are not going to be remastered. I see a pattern, and there are hints straight from Treyarch, and this kind of like brings me back to DLC 5 days where we were actually theorizing, of course, based off of what Treyarch was saying in the comics, what they were saying on Twitter, what they were saying on Facebook, and everything like that, and it just brings me back to those days, and I absolutely love it. But there is a pattern that I see that is going to tell you what maps are going to be most likely remastered, and this video, the goal of this video is to basically hype you all up, but at the same time kind of want to make sure that you don't get your hopes up for certain maps that are most likely not going to be remastered. But we're gonna get right into this video. First of all, a big shout out to these homeboys up on the screen. Make sure you are subscribed if you are new, and hey, if you do end up subscribing, just let me know in the comments below so I can actually feature you in my next video. We do Call of Duty Zombies, and hey, this year is looking lit so far. Now, second of all, I want to make sure that we are clear on Mob of the Dead. Now, Mob of the Dead remaster is 100% going to happen, no doubt about it. In fact, Mob of the Dead is not going to be remastered, it's going to be remade with a lab underneath. But we're left with 6 maps that are most likely going to be remastered, but there are going to be 2 of them that are not going to be remastered. Now, the pattern that I see is the following. With DLC 5, Jason Blundell and Treyarch team originally planned to have 4 maps for us. He confirmed it in an interview, but then they ended up making 8 maps. And from the information that I heard, of course I was making DLC 5 videos because the information got leaked, and originally from what I heard, Mob of the Dead was in development and we should have had that map in DLC 5, but towards the end they decided to not have that map because they knew that it wouldn't fit in the pack. Jason Blundell confirmed it, and of course Mob of the Dead is going to happen in the next Treyarch game, and that is some fire marketing by Treyarch. But the thing is, the maps that we have seen in DLC 5 are following a pattern. Basically, they are telling the storyline of 1.0. They are making sure that we go from 1.0 to 2.0. And of course, the maps that were remastered, we were kind of like in the beginning stages, and then we go from there with 1.0 crew, and then we kind of like transition to Origins crew, and that's why we have Origins remaster, right? And from Origins, we go to the Giant, Shadows of Evil, The Rise and the Wrath, and then you already know the Black Ops 3 storyline continues. But the thing that I see is that the Tranzit crew is going to be in Black Ops 4, and we're most likely gonna play as the Tranzit crew in Mob of the Dead remaster. I made a video. If you don't believe me, check it out. It's most likely gonna happen. So the thing that I see is that the maps that are most likely gonna be remastered are gonna be the following: Tranzit, Die Rise, and Buried. These are the maps that are 100% going to happen in terms of the storyline. If Treyarch is keeping the storyline on fire, they want it to be a banger, these maps are going to be remastered because we're going to be playing these maps as the Victis crew, and this is going to be set in the future. Basically, Transit is in the future, of course, after Moon happened, and guess what? Moon was remastered in DLC 5 and we were playing as 1.0, so it all makes sense, and that happened in Black Ops 3, and they will tell us this storyline, what happened after Moon. Of course, Transit remaster is gonna be there, Die Rise, and Buried. And of course, Transit was a map that was incomplete in Black Ops 2. They ran out of time. We heard from Jason Blundell and from a lot of people that worked at Treyarch. They said that they were working on different game modes, like Grief, for example. They actually put it in the game, but that was also incomplete. That's why we didn't see it in Black Ops 3, and we're most likely gonna see that back in Black Ops 4. Hey, it's 10th year anniversary. They're definitely gonna bang that shit out, but at the same time want to make sure that you understand why this makes sense, because of course the Victis crew, aka Transit crew, is gonna be back in Black Ops 4, so they are most likely going to remaster. Now, it could be the same thing, like, hey, we're going to see these maps being remastered towards the end of Black Ops 4 cycle in terms of a DLC 5, which I don't believe is gonna happen again because Jason Blundell doesn't like to redo the same thing over and over. But hey, who to say they are not gonna do it, because Activision is behind, and of course we the people, we the Zombies community, wanna absolutely see those maps come back to life, and of course it can happen once again. But another map that I want to talk about is going to be NukeTown. Now, NukeTown is possible but at the same time, there is no sort of like evidence other than the fact that we had a remaster loading screen. And this loading screen on your screen right now is from the comic number 5, and this is gonna be hard to decipher, but let me just get this straight. If you look at the top, or not the top, I mean look at the top, look at everywhere, look at to the right, look to the left, but the thing is, if you look to the right, you see that mist, or you see the teleportation occurred from possibly Russia to London, or possibly Sheffield. I'm not sure if I'm butchering it or not. And if you look at the top or left, you see the 1.0 crew, and of course we have seen the 1.0 in DLC 5, so keep that in mind, and they're going back to the house and everything like that. And in the bottom we see the world that is safe, but if you look in Black Ops 2, that world is torn apart, and basically we have the timeline of Transit, Die, Rise, and Buried. And if you look once again to the bottom right, you see that teleportation occurred, but we have seen this in the past, and I'm talking about Die Rise. So this is sort of like connecting the dots, but at the same time it's not fully there, but of course we can kind of like speculate and everything like that. I would say this is sort of like a theory with some proof by Treyarch, but the thing is, we have seen a definite NukeTown remaster loading screen. The Transit crew maps are most likely gonna happen as well, so we got 4 maps here. Mob of the Dead makes it a big 5, and I personally believe that in Black Ops 4 the theme of these remaster maps are not gonna be like remaster alone. They are going to be remastered in terms of graphics and everything like that, but at the same time they are going to be remade. I'm 100% sure that Mob of the Dead is going to be remade, but the rest of the maps can also be altered as seen in the loading screens. And we can see a DLC 5 for Black Ops 4, or some sort of DLC. Maybe in DLC 4 we see like Resurrection 2.0. Basically we see the similar thing occurred. I'm talking about Resurrection that happened in the past. We could see Resurrection 2.0, and with that we don't see any multiplayer map, but we see a solid of 4 zombie maps. And hey, the maps that I'm talking about that are most likely not gonna be remastered are the following: Call of the Dead and 5. Now 5 is gonna be a difficult map to remaster. I mean, everything is possible, Treyarch can definitely do it, but the thing is, 5 was played as sort of like precedence, and I believe, I'm not sure, I'm gonna bleep some words here and there because we're on YouTube. And also Call of the Dead is one of my favorite maps, but the fact is George Romero died, and I'm not sure about other characters. And really quickly, I want to say rest in peace to my man George Romero. You were a legend, you are still a legend. But Call of the Dead can be remastered, but it's sort of like hard to say as of now, because that has no sort of like irrelevancy in the zombie storyline, but at the same time it does have that factor where we see the 1.0 crew behind a wall where they need a fuse to go somewhere else. So there is that, and I'm not sure about Call of the Dead and 5. That's why I'm saying don't get your hopes too up for Call of the Dead and 5, but let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Make sure you are subscribed for more bangers, leave a like, check out some other videos on the screen, and I'll see you very friggin' soon.